notice about my whole story of this whole Shero universe and getting to build the Shero universe is there's lots of little things that kind of come along that make things full circle. From the very beginning of me being in elementary school and Jackie Torrance choosing my school to come to. I mean, she's from Salisbury and kind of like me, but her being there and me being there on that day to hear her speak and to like see storytelling as a potential career to get to where I'm at now, where storytelling is what I do for a living. The same thing happened at Stanley's Comikaze. So I'm there with my very first comic book, graphic novel series, Rayven Choi. First two books, third book is in Korean. All these people all around buying books, buying t-shirts. This guy comes up to my table. It's a white guy, comes up to my table, and he sees my character. I have like my big, my banner behind me with Rayven Choi, 6-foot Rayven Choi behind me. And this guy comes up to my table and he's like, "Hey, have you thought about turning her into a game?" And I was just like, "I am now." And so he gave me his business card and he was just like saying that they were working on VR games. And he thought that Rayven Choi would be making a really good VR game. And so I was like, cool. So he gave me his business card. I think he may have emailed me after that, but then nothing ever happened. I think they didn't get the money or whatever, or it just didn't work out for them. But that planted the seed that Rayven Choi is going to be a game. That planted the seed that Shero Games was going to happen eventually. So this was in 2016. We're in 2025 right now, and now we're on the cusp of creating Shero Games, and we actually have a game of Rayven Choi that I started creating in 2021, I believe. So some things come full circle. So Shero Games was born at Stanley's Comikaze back in 2016 when I released the first book. That put it on the map, and that was what was going to come to the future. It was going to be Shero Games eventually because of that comic convention. The biggest lesson that I learned entering the comic book industry was that, of course, it's male dominated. So a lot of times people act like women don't exist. Even right now, as all the things that I've built with Shero Comics, all the books that we've released, all the articles that have been written about me and about the things that we're doing for women. And other women have popped up since then. So it's like I pretty much know who all the women are in comics at this point because I've been doing it for a decade at this point. So, but still, with that going on, it's still a male-dominated industry, and they still act like women don't exist for the most part. So, the biggest lesson that I learned is that you kind of have to make your own way, and that's what I don't really pay attention to a lot of the hoopla or the sexism, or I don't have time for that. It's just like, we're making history here. We're trying to trailblaze and make a world appear that the next generation of girls never have to worry about not having a black superheroine to root for, or never have to worry about not going to the comic book shop and not finding a book that with a little girl or a woman that looks like them on the cover. So I don't have time for your misogyny and your sexism. Like, this has to happen right now. If I had to do it all over again, what I would do differently is, like I mentioned, I would definitely have probably taken more time to get the books done in a more timely fashion for the Rayven Choi series. We started this in 2014. We released them in 2016, the first two books. I didn't get a chance to release book 3 until 2018, and then books 4 and 5 didn't come until 2021. They came kind of back to back. And it's just like when I had time to do it, because I was working full time and just pursuing the comic book thing. So it's like I didn't really have the time to kind of sit down and do all the tedious work that goes into creating each and every book. So that's my biggest lesson, is to try to get as far into your series as possible, or try to get it done if you can. Or even if like you want to create a graphic novel, just do it. Just do the whole thing and then release it as a whole thing. Or maybe release the first book or the first chapter of it and then release the whole book. I see a lot of people kind of doing that. And so that may take some time. That's the thing. Like with me, it's just like I was ready to kind of get those books out there on the shelf. But someone else may take this advice where just go ahead and do the whole book, and then you can kind of release them, in your own timeline, but you already have them done. So that was the biggest lesson I learned.
Next week on the Shero Universe miniseries.